Hey, so what's up? We're having to do this video again because it didn't upload. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I got the backup cam running. Soon I'm going to need... Let me make sure I got the backup cam running. Yeah, I repeated that on purpose. Soon I'm going to need several backup cams, apparently. I swear to God, everything has been guided by these demons the past few days. I've not been allowed to do anything. And so the first video upload of this was deleted, or it was just not uploaded. All sorts of arguments they'll make why the first version of this video is not in existence, even though several of you know and understand. Hey, what's up to whoever's here? Even though several of you know and understand that you were here during that live stream, this video did not make it up. So I'm redoing the video. I don't know, man. It feels like I've struck a nerve with them recently. They're just coming at me harder, so I'm just going to keep dumping them. I'm just going to keep dumping right back on them. So this is about the writer of the Satanic Bible. And also, I'm just going to, I'll preface this. I'll try to preface my videos with everything you guys know. Too long, didn't watch. I get it, right? So this video is about, it's about so much important things, but it's about Anton LaVey, otherwise known as Howard Levy. He created the Satanic Bible. Now, he also ran guns for Israel. That's what he says. He brags he stole guns. They used America to genocide Germany and steal the guns. And he brags he stole German guns to ship them to Israel. So Israel could be armed with German guns, of all things. The Germans they genocided. And also, the second satanic temple in organization is ran by Malcolm Jerry, who himself says he is, he calls himself that name. He refers to himself as that name. Now, one thing I'm going to say before it gets out of the way, what's up to the new viewers, is that Jew.com tells us Anton LaVey is very much not a Jew. Because they're trying to distance themselves from him. But it's really double speak, because you go to Times of Israel, they literally headlined an article, Praise the Dark Lord / Praise the Dark Lord. And that is the Satanist plan invocation at Phoenix City Council meeting right here. You can see it. Look at the very top there. Praise the Dark Lord, praise the Dark Lord. That is the writers. First of all, it's produced by AP. You can see AP still there, even though it's covered with a snipping tool. Sorry, that date's covered up. Let me cover that date. That date is the 1st of February, 26, 11:35 a.m. Sorry that's not in there, especially for deaf people. Because this article is going to come up missing. Several of their articles come up missing after they brag about stuff. But look at that. Look at that, the top there. That's crazy. Hey, what's up, Denise? Denise, you said you live on the streets now? Is that what you said? Where do you live? Maybe I'll come live with you. You need some company? I was going to travel. So you have that. And so at first I'm just prefacing before I go into detail on some of this, what it's about. So that's all you got to listen to. So right here, it shows the Malcolm Jerry. Later in this article, it tells you. See Malcolm Jerry right there. You can pause it and see. Written by one of them. So hopefully he's telling you the truth. 26th of October 2016. They wrote that on my birthday. That's kind of odd. They like their numbers. And I see it like Buddhism. Satanism is something that can coexist with being a Jew. And the title of that article is Israel Times. In Haunted Salem, a Jewish church founder preaches the art of the satanic social change. So that's the second organization. Now, there's a second guy who runs with him, but that's about that. So they're both running both sides of that. And then here, like I said, I'm just summing this all up. Here we have the Church of Satan saying, yep, Anton LaVey had a secular Jewish upbringing, and this all resonated in his creation of Satanism. I'm sorry, I have not, this is me speaking. I'm not sorry, I have not purchased the Satanic Bible. I don't care to read it. I basically know it from being around some of these people. It basically means it's like nothing. Everything is everything. Nothing is nothing. Nothing is everything. It's just whatever. You can make it whatever you want. That's basically how they opened it as. So that's what it's around. And the Jews say that their foundation is based upon exposing myths and stuff, except for except for the only myth that they protect, which is how do they control all this stuff. And finally, the video will probably end talking about this article. 14's arrested on suspicion of vandalizing Templar Cemetery. Times of Israel, April 20th, 2019. So basically what I'm showing, well, actually, sorry, that was the date. I put that there. This was written July 21st, 2017, 6:44 p.m. And Haunted of Salem, Jewish church founder, preaches the art of satanic social change. I see it like Buddhism. It can coexist with being a Jew. That was Matt Lebovic, 26th of October. Yeah, I said that because that was my birthday. 2016, 4:36 p.m. Sorry, I'm going through this again to make sure I didn't say it wrong. And I didn't date and time the Church of Satan Twitter. I'll make sure the address bar is up there in the pictures for you. And I will show you right here what everyone's saying. Look, this guy says, taking the idea of Satan as a symbol, refusing traditional moral concepts as Church of Satan does, is totally consistent with, if no one else, many Jewish traditions dating to the 12th century. So yeah. And the Church of Satan said what they did around the 21st of January 2018. That's the dates we see right there. And how I had the screen laid out, you can't see below it. So it's basically by that date. But you can see the link to the status address as it exists. So that's a summary of what this video is about. It's them controlling this group from the start. Every time we can see them, it appears they've controlled the group. In California, you're trying to leave, you got a minivan, I'll come swoop you up. Yeah, you'll come swoop me up. Hell yeah, you're going to have to, because they're like, dude, I contacted another, a dealer, and I told them that they treated me like I'm some sort of dog over at the Lexus dealer. And, they was discriminating against me. And then they said, okay, they'll come pick me up. And I thought they were going to call me today at 12. Maybe I was supposed to call them. But I'm pretty sure they said they was going to call me. I'm pretty sure I said, come get me at 12. So I kind of I was going to do this video early, but I thought I was leaving. So it's like, I don't even think I'm allowed to have a house or a car right now. I probably wasn't going to buy the car directly from them because they didn't have the cherry apple red one. Or it wasn't called cherry apple, was it? Whichever one, but... you never know. I've never actually seen a car really and not bought it. I don't think I've ever done that. I just buy stuff and get it out of the way. And then recently, I'm always given some sort of gift too. It's like, wow. Yeah, I was forced to get that at the last second, or I just didn't put a thought into it. And now he's got something pretty nice, I guess. But it looks like you're going to have to pick me up, Denise, because they're trying to keep me from getting a car or something. I swear everyone in this city's starting to act like some sort of demon, man. They are bad people. These are bad people. They've been stalling me for 4 days now. I made a comment about smashing my stuff and leaving And when I said smashing my stuff, the joy left their eyes because they thought they were going to get to steal everything from me. And it's like, ah, ah, poor babies. But yeah, I'll need someone to pick me up, man. Apparently, I'll be trying to leave the state. I went down. I tried to leave, and they like locked me in the city. I've got my passport. I'm ready to get out of here. This place is so bad, dude. These people are fucking demons, man. Okay, so we got the basics out of the way, and then a little rant. I mean, it's hard for me to do this stuff, especially when they delete these things, making me repeat this stuff. But it'll be harder for them this time to not upload any of this because the more they mess with that, the more I am going to have multiple systems in play. So, and it's weird. One person came into my life talking about helping me, and then my car broke. Like after I seen them, and this is like the third time my car's broke when I went around these people. I'm going to ignore that, but it's like they're trying to like act like they were helping me, and they kind of did to some extent. But it's like, don't tell me I can rely on you if I can't, because I have to like base my life. I can't just like sit in the corner and wait for everyone else to decide they're going to sell me a car or like say goodbye. Like I wanted to say goodbye to a couple people and they're ignoring me, and it's like, why? Like why? Like they're purposely holding out. It's like I just wanted to say goodbye to some people before I leave, and it's not like these are people who contact me, who want to get a hold of me. It's been a long time since I've wanted to talk to another person, because like I'm so fucking busy. I can't. There's no time. And then like I'm trying to do more than I can. Period. Like my schedule is like pretty booked, and then all of a sudden I want to say goodbye to people and no one wants to come. No one like wants to come around, and it's like I don't really care, but they'll eventually like turn it on me too, and then like I'll be like in the middle of like some last second thing like buying a car, and then they'll come up on me and like interrupt it so it doesn't happen. I bet you, because everyone's just acting so weird right now. It's like they're all demon possessed, and they really are. Like most of the people who've approached me recently have came up to me with like anger in their fucking souls, and you can read people, and it's like how about you just stay away from me, especially if you're really not a tough killer, and you're trying to come around me acting hardcore. It's like I hate fakes too. It's like I know most of these Pillsbury doughboys aren't tough killers. The salesman at the lot was like, he was like getting an attitude with me the whole time. Like he wanted someone to bust his head open, or maybe his wife slapped him around. Maybe he was coming down from the cocaine. I I know dealers and like car dealers, and they're basically like they need all that money because they're doing meth and cocaine and shit, and the prices of that stuff is super expensive. Yeah, Denise, you have to. Are you still in here? It says no one's here. You have to have a passport to leave. I was just going to leave, and I didn't want these people to know anything. I didn't want anyone in this nation to know I was leaving. But it's like, you have to let these people know this stuff. It's weird. You're like locked in the nation. And then I bet you if I don't know, dude. I wonder if they're going to try to prevent me from leaving the nation. It feels like they try to prevent me from leaving the city. This happened before. When I went to the RNC, such weird things happened to get to the Republican National Convention. Now, granted, I'm the last minute man, and I don't deal with these things all the time. Like buying a car, I don't deal with that all the time, but I'm pretty sure lying to and dragging people around and laughing at them and treating them like a dog is like not how you treat people. But hey, I'm just seeing it as maybe this is God's way of justifying, like these people have become political terrorists. When I say I'm running, when they know I'm running for a campaign and they continue to like terrorize me, that's like, that becomes politically motivated terrorism. And that's a capital offense. So it's very odd how they've not just overstepped their bounds with the dumbest, dirtiest bum they found. They overstepped their bounds with one of the smartest fucking bums they found. And it really doesn't matter. Fucking, it's like God's justifying what's going to happen to these people. Like I have so many people like just documented. It's like the government has been documented what they've been doing. Many of you have been doing it too, but maybe you don't see it that way. But you've been detailing what people have been doing to the nation and stuff, and to the people in it. And these people are guilty of crimes. Almost all the people you guys talk of are guilty of crimes. It doesn't matter whether the media's lying and the FBI's lying, and there's maybe Israel controls Russia and it's not Russia who controls America. Maybe something like that's happening. But at the end of the day, they're all committing crimes, and you guys are all gathering details and inventing the case. You are working the case. That is what this is, and that is actually the core of how to defeat them without using physical rebellion. Like without suggesting people start killing people in the government. You simply can say, "Hey, they're terrorists," and call them out. You've got to call them out. We got to start approaching them face to face and letting them know these people flee in terror when you start using the word terrorist. And they're terrorists. That is the thing. Even these little citizens around here in this city are doing stuff for like all sorts of reason, but it's they're terrorizing people, and there's different levels for what that can be classified as. The crimes all these low-level thugs in this nation are committing, and low-level rich people are committing. But when you involve politics into it, if I'm like, hey, I need help, doing this and that, and you're like trying to impede me to move forward, that becomes that becomes terrorism, because it's political terrorism. Is like, we're just repeating the same word. It has to involve politics for it to be terrorism. But when these people act like that, they need to start realizing that they're in serious shit. That's what Soros is on the run for. George Soros, that's why he doesn't like really hang out in America, because he's wanted in some countries. They're going to auto-arrest him once he goes into some countries. And that's what we should do with a lot of these people in America. But, okay, pulling us back on track, I described basics of this. So what happened is he invented the temple in about the 1960s. 1960 something. And then, well, he invented it then. He wrote the book then. And this was in Hollywood. But before he did that, he brags in his biography that he was running guns for Israel in New York, in the motherland. So the people surrounding him say he lies all the time. Okay, but we have to attempt to trust one or two words he says. And this sounds like, this doesn't sound like something made up. This sounds like something he would really do, is run guns for Israel. So that makes perfect sense that he would run guns for Israel. The people who said he was lying about that were like other people who are involved in criminal acts with him. Like, that's not a legal act. He just, some people run their mouths about the shit they do. and the other people don't want to talk about it. Like you might have a person, like he still runs a company, so why would he say his company was a front for another company? You know, it's like literally like they should have been, the FBI should have been investigating those people at that point, but they're probably ran by those people. But and the people in his life are just like him, so you never know who's lying. But he says he ran guns for Israel, and the people who said that that was a lie had a lot to lose if that wasn't a lie. Like still, like they could face some jail time. They're probably still running these undercover dance clubs and running guns out the back door. And it sounds right. Clearly, he's a big part of the tribe. He's a big part of the scheme because they've made him so famous. He's like second in fame. Well, he's not actually famous, but the ideals he pushed are like second in fame to like Jesus, maybe even more popular than Christianity and Jesus these days, especially inside America. My view is skewed, being inside Columbus, being inside Ohio, being inside America, to different reasons. I can't be sure the whole world isn't full of demons like USA. I can't be sure the whole state really isn't demons like USA, and I can't be sure the whole nation isn't, but it seems to be something like that. So in here, like Satanism is like the biggest trend in America. It's the big thing. It's what people want. It's what people are. It's not necessarily, it's got almost nothing to do with them claiming they are or them wanting to be it. Well, they want to be it, but they don't want you to label them as that because they'll kill you for it if you start. Wow, dude, calling these people demons is like, that like freaks them out because they know, they're like, oh shit, he's on to me. Like you could call me a demon and I'd be like, gosh, shut up. Why are you talking to me? But if you call like a pedophile, or if you call like a murderer, they'll probably get upset. Like you call me a murderer, I'll be like, what are you talking about, you retard? But you call a murderer, I'll be like, you call it a scumbag who assaults people, an assaulter, they'll get all assaulty on you. And you call a thief and he'll get all thievy on you. So you've got to call these people what they are. And if you call someone a demon and they act like a demon in response to that, that means they're a demon. They couldn't act like a demon if they weren't a demon. You understand how that works? Like, sometimes you do have your little fluxes in who the person is. And they use chemicals to alter that, drugging the water, drugging the skies, drugging you, drugging through the doctor, drugging through the schools, drugging through the fake parents who really aren't parents because they don't raise their kids at all and just watch TV. They control you through all that stuff. But, yeah, I think the demon thing, still at the end of the day, it's like a decision. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe God has complete control of all the humans and he chooses who's the demons and who's not and just randomly pits them against you or whatever. You can't be sure of that. But we're dealing with this, and these demons, this is like what America worships. This is like its true core. You can see how he's changed his name. It was originally Howard Levy, or Howard Stanton Levy. And then he changed it to Anton LaVey. Because they changed the name to fit in. That the word name changers is associated with them because they do this. And he cut his hair too because, look, the hair is very telling. Without the hair, it's hard to see. He actually looks like the one person I know as a friend who I thought was not Jewish with his head shaved. So then he looks like most of my other friends in this picture. So just so you know. So there's a bigger picture of that. And here's an interesting note on what's going on here. The House of Levi is the Spock sign. The sign Spock does, Leonard Nimoy, that is his house worship sign. Like there, that one does the Illuminati pyramid. You see that? Interesting. Because none of the people talking about the Illuminati will ever discuss that. I'm sorry for the backup video. I've not been showing the pictures. I didn't notice I could just go through them and show them here at the end. I'll pause on all of them, or wherever this is. I need to zoom in on that. But it's interesting to note that they have their gang sign everywhere. It's so everywhere in so many ways. I myself just noticed that the rabbi there is actually he's combining the Illuminati sign with the Levi sign. Look at it. Look at what he's doing. So the Illuminati sign is their sign, and they have you going around doing the Levi sign too. And apparently, from the way it looks in this symbol right here, I can't see it through that. In this symbol, this circle above Leonard Nimoy's head, or to the side of his head, it looks like it's telling us something. Like it's telling of what's going on here. I bet you it's got something to do with some of the stuff they're hiding, because they're clearly hiding stuff. They're hiding some form of magic control, manipulation that they use over the humans. Maybe I should look into that one day. They talk about geometry and all that, but every time I look into that, it sounds like it's just them trying to mislead you. Like, they don't seem like people who would waste who waste much time doing stuff. That sounds like that would be a lot of hard work for them to have to filter everything through a geometry of filter. They just say 6 months in advance a prayer to bless everything they do, and it seems to work for them. And that's possibly part of it, but I'm not sure what the full thing is. But you have everyone going around doing those signs. And when they say it's Illuminati, you can see right there that the rabbi is doing the Illuminati sign. It's not just like Alex Jones and the Truthers will tell you that means Illuminati. And it's like, that's not Illuminati, that's a rabbi. That's a Jewish sign. That pyramid is clearly the Jewish sign. And it probably is created around the time they were the Pharisees. The so-called Jews were actually the Pharisees. And then in the Egyptian times, they had the pyramid. And the pyramid is what they're doing right there. So it's clearly what it is. But something about combining that with the House of Levi, that must mean something to them. I'm not sure. And maybe it's just nothing, and they clearly do everything with just intent, as opposed to any real need to do anything. But it's plain to see that is the Illuminati pyramid sign he's doing. And that, of course, is Hollywood Spock to the side. Did RBG die? What's RBG? RBG. Red, blue, green lighting. That was a question for those who are listening or not watching or blind. Did RBG die? John Smith says. And yeah, and before I was talking to Denise, for anyone who is blind or hearing impaired. I mean, I guess not for the hearing impaired, right? You would need to see that. Yeah, for anyone who is blind. I'm reading the stuff on the screen or just listening. Before I was speaking with Denise, that probably sounded out of place. I should start making sure I always quote what's on the screen. Who is RBG though? John Smith says, did RBG die? Hey, John Smith, are you the one? Are you the one who I normally talk to? If you are, sorry for going off on you the other day. I'm not sure if that John Smith's comment was. I thought that John Smith had an avatar though, but I went off on a John Smith the other day because he started talking about drug use, like the doctor's drug use, and in 99 out of 100 times someone brings that up, they're talking about electrocuting me, drugging me, putting me in a padded room, and it just like it's like a trigger. I get triggered when I hear that, and I didn't read the full comment, and I went off. So John Smith, if that was you, I went a little far. Maybe I didn't, you know. Maybe I said what needed to be said, but I felt I went a little bit far because I didn't even fully read the comment. I just read the part about drugging the doctor's drugs. And the John Smith I'm speaking of, he had spoke to me before. He said he was in those hospitals, and I have no reason not to believe you, if you said that before. So, yeah, I apologize if I got angry and went off and said some shit, because I read that as generally those are attacks on me, trying to tell me I need drugs. What's up, Maria? Maria says hi, Sean and people. Pretty much just re-uploading the video that I did the other day. I've got a copy here I am doing. While I'm doing this, I'm recording myself. So if it would happen to not magically upload like the other day, then I have one backup, and I'll be working on soon on having 2 to 3, on having 2, 3, 4 backups. It's getting expensive, and it's getting hard to do stuff with these people like preventing me from moving forward in ways. But I'll manage. I'll manage. If there's one thing I can do, it's definitely work around these type of people. They simply don't have the capacity I do to shift and to think. I notice I've been fooling them a lot recently. Or over the last 10 years, there's ways to fool them. I thought maybe they're just acting stupid, because sometimes women act that way. They like to play stupid, but in reality, in America, women are in charge, but they like to act stupid and weak, and they're just like, they're playing a game. So I thought that's what they were doing, but I'm not sure. Hopefully one of these videos I'm recording uploads, though. I mean, I could say that that's just like a coincidence that uploading a video on Satanism and who truly runs it is, hold on, gotta record on this other device because it's limited on time. Okay, yeah, I could say that was just a coincidence that they messed up the upload. I mean, they're forcing me to use this alternative method to even live stream right now. So, whatever. It just feels like they're really attacking me really hard. They don't want me doing this. Which, I mean, whoever's doing all this, too, like, that's political terrorism. Now that I said, I mean, I've been planning for 10 years to run for office. So, technically, anyone doing it the last 10 years trying to stall me has been guilty of political terrorism. If that was their job, to come here and stall me, they were guilty of political terrorism. So, hopefully one of these versions of the video get uploaded. I'm not sure what happened. But what you have with Anton LaVey, the actual cult there, is you have the people, they aren't really those people. They don't know who they're fighting for. Like I've been following some of them, and they are like some of the people on my page, like obviously, are into these people or somewhat into part of their message or something related to their group, but they don't even know. They don't even have any idea what's going on. Like these other established religions can't tell you anything honest about their church or anything. So I have seen some of them though inside this organization, and they claim they did this and that and that and this, and they did have markings, you know, trails they left behind that looked like they were honest people and not lying about what they do, be it good or bad. I've been around all sorts of people, but when I met one of them in the satanic area, that is when the stuff that people associate it with come out. Although supposedly Anton LaVey did not get into any of that, and he just was a Hollywood star. But it's Hollywood who's made him famous. The magic of Hollywood. Hollywood itself being a name meaning the wood from which a druid stick was created in the past, because they would use the wood of the holly tree to create their magic sticks. He is the magician. He is, the Merlin of Hollywood. He is the one who quote, wrote their book, unquote. It's not like they call it their book, but it is. And he's a much bigger target and center than he appears, just by looking at the things around the outside of him, like running guns to Israel, being the Merlin of the Hollywood. He probably does play a much larger role, and he probably was not lying when he said he ran guns to Israel, because he remains such an important figure when you actually look at that and what that means to their people, to have the Merlin of, the Gandalf of their people, the wizard of their people. It means a lot to them to have these groups. So I assume he was into a lot more than he had ever spoke of. But I can't say for sure. And like I said, everything that he says, pretty much everyone denies. They even say on his deathbed that he recanted Christianity. But you can't believe any of the people around him, because he really was. And he's really involved in the Hollywood crime syndicate. No matter what you want to think about it, there's no lying and denying about that. But so there's no reason to think anything else this man says is untrue. When I say things, people don't believe it. I know it because, it's just been a long time. We know people don't believe that when you do something they don't do. Like if I tell someone I did something other than go on vacation to a beach or go to the store and get some bread or watch TV, and like no one believes it. Like no matter, there's no point in saying it. You can add whatever lies you want, subtract whatever pieces you want. There's no reason not to believe this guy when his life's already like that. Kind of like mine. Like I have friends or people who I'm not sure if, who kind of act weird compared to a friend. And, they know like what we used to do, and there should never be any questioning what goes on in my life unless I start like really never being able to strand a sentence together properly. I talk and sound a little confused because my brain's thinking of 8 things at once. So there's different me's you can experience. There is one who's like really, he sounds like really hyped up like a meth head, but I've never done meth. I did like caffeine and shit. I've never even done cocaine. I stay away from speed. I don't fucking need it. This is like me, you know, like if I'm talking real fast, I got 8 things going on in my brain. But that's just me. So when we're dealing with these people, you gotta really, I don't know how to fully defeat them, man. But this Hollywood satanic cult, he's a bigger key. There's no reason to not believe anything he's saying. He probably did drugs too, which probably altered his states. Although sometimes you find the leaders don't. Now, it's Aleister Crowley. It's quite easy to believe that he probably did drugs and altered who he was, and that can actually change people. So sometimes you can't rely on information from people like that, but sometimes you definitely can't rely on an alcoholic, which is like everyone, right? So things can change sometimes, but the whole story he portrays as himself of being a mossad gun runner is easily just looked at it as truth because he says it and because they brag about it. And you look at his friend at the other people in Hollywood. You have our non-Milchan mossad spy. You begin to see a pattern here of these people completely in control of what's going on. And like everything that comes up, like everyone's hero they mention, General Wesley Clark comes from a long line of rabbis, you know, and I pull that out of my head. That's got nothing to do with the video. That's what I'm saying, is it's got nothing to do with this, and I'm just pulling out a hero, and it's one of their heroes. Yeah, hell yeah, he is. It says right there. Um, Church of Satan on Twitter says he is. Maria said, yeah, Anton LaVey is one of their bloodline. It's, yep, Church of Satan says that. But the odd thing is, we go to Jew or not Jew, and they show us, is this safe for me to go through my phone with you guys on it? Probably not safe for me to do this. Look, if you go to this profile, they lie. They give him a score of 6. Like, so now you know you cannot trust this site because I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I know to look at it later. Now you know that this site is willing to lie, which come on. They're all lying. All the truther fact finder people are them, so they're lying. Even the one you think you're in control of, the Wayback Machine, which is a fact finder where you will see stuff erased, they're in control of that. And I've found stuff before that's not in the Wayback Machine. And that makes perfect sense, whether designed that way or not. I think at first it used to crawl all the web and actually harvest that, but then it stopped. So it became kind of useless. Anything I can find that I would want to look back at and see if they changed the wording or something in it. I have not seen a previous version in anything in the last year, possibly I've looked for that I thought would have important information. Now, some of this stuff I looked up, I will, if you guys see something that you want to remain in the information history of Wayback Machine, take it to the Wayback Machine and force them to look up the site, and that's supposedly when it will index the site. But I think there's something else going on because it's controlled by them. So you can't trust these jewornotjew.com or skeptics.com. Like, they will alter the... It's weird because one of the skeptics site, they said something new. Like, the person who owns it, it's like pretty much the biggest one that's not James Randi. He said some new stuff I'd never seen. He actually confirmed some of the stuff he was denying about 9/11. Like, he was trying to say this. I'm not actually sure the point of that post. They were talking about the 9/11 Israel hijackers being on a talk show TV. And it looked like he was actually like saying, it looked like he was giving you proof that it was suspicious, but that he titled it like it meant that there was no suspicion, but not at all. What he said, he even said that he himself as this conspiracy denier and fact finder said that the talk show host actually worked for the Israel military himself. He didn't confirm that Dancing Israelis. He tried to say that Dancing Israelis were not working for them, I believe. And he confirmed the talk show host was Israel military or linked. And like in his past. And it's like, that doesn't actually, back up your title that you're buying into. Of course, with what he wrote, if you read it, you would know, like, wait a minute, that sounds suspicious. But if you just read the title, you would be like, oh, stupid conspiracy theorists say Israelis were dancing on 9/11. And he did try to paint that picture with the story, but there's almost no way you could have walked from the story thinking that was realistic, because why is there a Israeli military person hosting a TV show? How often does that happen? We don't ever have military people hosting our TV, or do we? Like CIA Anderson Cooper. And Wolf Blitzer, CNN Wolf Blitzer, AIPAC lobbyist. So, yeah. And they're not there for not a reason. They're there to work with people like that. And they would come out and deny it. If that were totally deniable, they would have to deny it at some point, most likely. Or they would want to. Maybe they're just saving it for a coup to say that looks suspicious. But it does. It does look suspicious. It looks suspicious when Anderson Cooper is doing what he does. Lying to people, talking about Russia when it's Israel who took over America. Talking about, those evil Koreans when it's like real demons who have taken over America. Who cares about Koreans? Like, Koreans did not demonize and take over America. It's like it's turning into such a bad place. While I try to talk to people, and I was like a really nice person most of my life, but you can't be when you talk about this stuff, because everyone hates you. And it's just like, well, you either stop doing it or you stop associating with the demons. You get two choices in America. You're isolated. You're either America is number one, or you're isolated from the nation. Even the liberals, like, where you can see in that video, they were like talking of how at least America's better than everyone else. It's like, what? At least America's, if it's so bad, stop protesting, libtards. If America's so bad, so good, stop protesting. We're number one, dude. Maybe you should go out on the streets with a flag saying we're number one. That could work. Maria says they edit everything, and that is true. I just wish I knew to what extent they control what, so I could realistically set a course. You know, it feels like they're like trying really hard to crash down on me, and the harder I push back, like I'm noticing within this last week, it, if they push like any more demons into my life, like the next week, it'll be real obvious that they're completely in possession of the human mind, or many of them. But the USA ones, they act the weirdest, man. Then again, I can't say that because I've not been anywhere else. But I'm like worried that they're trying to, I don't know, force me around, and then I'll end up in the same situation again. You know, it's better to be around the demons you do know than the demons you don't know. Because at least then you know you've got stuff on them. Unfortunately, once you start hanging out with the demons, man, like all you've got is like they're going to try to blackmail you constantly, and it's like you just got to make sure you cut that off by doing the same thing. Be like, yeah, I remember that day you stabbed someone? Like, yeah, I didn't tell anyone. So, you know, don't cause any problems, and maybe I still won't tell anyone. But it's weird too how like they wrote the demon Bible in USA. Like they saved USA to write that Bible, and they could have invented that Bible in any of the religions they've been in. And you know, in any of the nations they've been in, any of the hundreds of times they've reformed Christianity and changed its name. They could have done it any time like that, but they did it in the 1960s. It's interesting too how the Satanist plan invocating its Phoenix City Council meeting February 1st, 2016. It says it came from AP, but it's hosted at Times of Israel. It says Times of Israel has added the phrase, praise the Dark Lord. And this was written a long time ago. So they haven't needed to up the, you know, like change it to deceive anyone. Like literally no one has done this. Like I don't ever need to say that in any of my videos, do I? All my videos are about, if you guys can find it somewhere else I don't talk about it, unfortunately, then that means you've got to go listen to people who don't want to have an open discussion with me. You can judge yourself how evil they are, but they don't ever want to have a fair and honest discussion about stuff with me. Maria says they have an anti-Semitism czar in USA. Why don't you explain to me what you're saying, Maria? I haven't heard of this. Explain to the people. And I'll continue talking while you type that out. So what I'm doing now is they wrote, praise the Dark Lord. What does that mean? Like to them, that means something. That must mean something to them. Why would they title that in their media? You guys, and I think you guys are generally right when you follow these people who say there might be something to their wording. There is something to the wording. The people only say what they know. So it's a phrase whoever wrote that article has said before, because you only say what you know. You can't, I can't talk about how to build a jet engine turbine because I don't know how to talk about that. I don't know the words about it. But I can talk about computers and chips, at least the ones I'm allowed to see, right? Yeah. Okay, but who is it? What do you mean? I haven't heard of this. I don't watch the news. What has happened? I get all my news from you guys and gals. You guys tell me the news, and then I tell you which lies are in it. That's pretty much how it works. Or sometimes you guys tell me the lies too. I mean, but yeah, you guys tell me everything. I've never turned on the TV, the news on TV, except for maybe a couple times. Um, no, one time, the only time I've ever actually used a TV, I think, to turn on the news was it was possible during the 28 Fox Money Machine hour, but that was the kids' hour too. So we was just basically watching it for whatever. It was possibly that, but then I was on a VCR tape once. I was on the news when I was a child. One of the times I was on the news, I was a child, and they recorded that on VCR tape. A land car to be named by Trump. Oh, to be. So they're changing around. Yeah, Trump is changing the whole administration around. Basically, though, I think they do that because they're just sweeping dust under the rug. Like, you come in and you act like you work for 3 years, and then you're magically rich and you have payouts the rest of your life, and no one like suspects, like, wait a minute, how is this person rich? You're like, oh yeah, they work for the government, they're totally rich. In reality, a government paycheck does not pay your bills. Like, anyway, like, if I would be elected president, I don't think I can buy a Lamborghini with my salary. I I'm pretty sure it's like a low that. But even if I could buy a Lamborghini, I wouldn't have much left over. I guess it depends on the model I want, right? And the extras and everything. But and who I buy it from, of course, too. But I think that the other people in the government, they're barely making any money. So anytime anyone gets in here, they just cycle them in and out, so they can't. It's like they cycle words. Like, I keep using this cycle thing. I keep mentioning this cycle, and this is very important. This is it's part of the world. It's part of the creation. It's part of it's God's creation. Like, they might be demons, but God had created them uh, before they could possibly become a demon. And so they're on cycles, and just like in the politics, they cycle people out, and they do that for so many reasons. Like I say, everything's not done for one reason, at least 7 reasons, or you're wasting your time doing something. And so they put these people in a position for a short period just to make them look like they're important, useful, doing something, and then they get them out of there so nothing can stick, and then you feel like special about it. You're like, yeah, we got that bad person out of office. Now everything's so good. We got this new good person in office. And then in 2 years, you're like, nah, well, who is this person, and why did he get out of office? And then how did he get in office? And you're like, vote the new one in. And so then the cycle there of cycling them in and out. A lot of times it's not so important to once you see the cycle, it's only important to know what the cycle is. If you invest a heavy amount of time into researching each ingredient to the cycle, then they think of it this way: you use water, rice, and heat to cook rice. So you got a cycle there: water, rice, and heat. Water, rice, and heat. Does it really matter when you start and when you got to add new water to it? Hey, you could add a little bit different water. You could add some broth. You could flavor your water a different way. You could add a different flavor broth. You could add some sauce. You could, replace some of the water with sauce. You could use a different type of rice. But at the end of the day, it's simply a process of of heating and eating. It comes down to, that you're producing the rice, you're collecting the rice, you're cooking the rice, you're eating the rice. And that becomes the most important function of understanding what's going on is just simply seeing the cycle. Because if you keep looking at the rice, you like, yeah, sure, each rice might have a little bit different fortification to it. One might still have the husk in it. It might be a little more nutrient dense, it might be so husky that maybe your body doesn't accept it. But it's just one of those cycles where they will cycle people in and out. I'll look up the Ellen Carr, but it's probably just another one of the same old. There's a word for that in politics. I just took a long time to describe a word, a theme around politics. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, and it's one of those cycles, and it works in so many ways for them to do this. And like Alex Jones is a really good example of someone that they have not had to throw out yet. They have recycled Alex Jones through 4 movements. This is possibly one of the oldest and most important players on the team. When you realize that, there's almost no doubt that Alex Jones is related to these people because he's been in this cycle so long. Elaine Carr. Let's look that up. I know I get off topic, but what do you want me to do? Like, I've got all this information. I'm trying to get it out there before they take it from me, and they're trying to take it from me. And they're trying to take it from you. I did all this stuff for you guys. I'll die from this or whatever, or I'll die eventually. But this stuff, if it gets out, will go on. Elaine Carr. So, okay, so that's not Elaine. I was reading that as Elaine. That's Elan, and that is a male, and he is. Okay, first of all, let's review this real quick. Let's overview it real quick. Sorry, not review. Overview real quick. Okay, so Carr. First of all, this is how I would view this. Name throws no error. Name throws no suspicion, except for there's 2 R's at the end of car, and that is not very American to waste letters like that. Okay, and he's guilty now. Oh, you didn't have to tell me that because he's guilty. He is in the motherland, Manhattan, New York. That is the motherland. Israel is not the true motherland. Israel is the scapegoat. Israel is the distraction. New York, and especially Manhattan and New York, is totally red flag. Yes, he definitely is. Maria said his bloodline, and I'm telling you right now, when you see New York, you assume from that point you're incorrect. Your logic is broken if you arrive to someone from New York and do not first assume it is one of them. That's arriving to Israel and first assuming that you're going to meet a German inside of Israel. That's arriving to Israel thinking you're going to meet. That's arriving to Khazaria and thinking your first person you're going to meet is going to be a Nigerian. That's arriving to Miami and thinking the first person you're going to meet is a North Korean. And that's arriving to Hollywood, LA, thinking the first person you're going to meet is going to be, well, I was going to say Mexican, but they are right there. But they're probably not allowed in those rich areas. Is going to be a Chinese person. And there probably are a lot there. But you don't actually see Chinese people in Hollywood, in LA. So not directly right there. It's just a red flag. Your logic is off if you see someone's born in New York and don't think that is the motherland in you're in the motherland because that is your mother. Now, what you're saying, we go from here, of course, and we look further. Oh my God, it's not just Manhattan, New York. Before that appointment, Carr was deputy district in the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. I just said Los Angeles, so Maria is right on track. She's right on track and being honest with you guys about what this person agenda probably is. Look, and in LA, he ran as a Democrat. Oh no, hold up. Take that back. That was a complete lie. I was reading I'm just reading off of a search here. Sorry. That is not the right name. It brought up. What does that have to do with him? Okay. Oh, he's congratulated by Democrats. That's what that had to do with him. But let's look. Okay, you're right. You are directly right. There is Alan Carr appointed as State Department's envoy to combat anti-Semitism. On February 5th, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced the appointment of Alan Carr to serve as a special envoy for monitoring and combating anti-Semitism. So he is a terrorist. He has created an army of, he probably is a key position in the Trump army. He probably pays many of the fake accounts that are on the Nazi pages, the alt-right pages, the Trump pages. He steals. Hold up, I gotta return this camera back on. This other one only records a little bit at a time for some reason. Interesting. So, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, he is running tax dollars to pay for fake news bots all over the web. Like, they talk about fake news, but the government is the fake news. The Americans, so-called white ones here, which is exactly what these people are doing. These people are like painting this as all as Trump and Nazis are white people. And it's like, no, they're not. But they are the Nazis. It doesn't matter who they are, but they are the Nazis. And it just, this whole big scheme, it all ties back in together. He is guilty of political terrorism, which is the definition of terrorism. He is terrorizing people through threats. And he is probably linked to some of these people who threaten to kill me online. Because he pays people to do this stuff. And then who else does he pay? He's a Jewish Iraq war veteran and lawyer. Yeah, so it says right here, like, this is BRANDEIS Center, whatever that is. It seems like they know what's going on. It's the Louis D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under Law. So what that basically is it's probably a lawyer firm or something, and lawyers are dirtbags. Don't ever trust them. It's a criminal organization that shouldn't exist. It's just there to cite. It's one of the lawyers are about 15% of the empire tax, 15 to 25% of the empire tax. You don't understand how the system works, and it's very in-depth and long time consuming to point that out. But they're definitely terrorists. They're definitely financial terrorists. They're definitely political terrorists, and they're working illegal pathways left and right. Like, that's all they do. They're like scum. My lawyers acted like I never kind of hung out with anyone who was on cocaine. I guess I did once or twice, and my lawyers acted exactly like those people. So, yeah. They need lots of money. These rich people need lots of money for some reason. Let me tell you, a normal person can live on a little bit of money, but if you got a cocaine habit, you might want to become a politician or a lawyer or a doctor so you can afford your habit. Other than that, you won't have a habit because you won't be able to buy it. So you are exactly right. It says right here on this page, he is a Jewish war, Iraq war veteran, and a lawyer. And a lawyer. So it's not just on the lawyer page. He is a lawyer. He is one of these terrorists. He is one of these scumbags. Lawyers are like, look at Shakespeare. Now they take that kind of out of context, but no, like I say, a person only knows what they know. What Shakespeare wrote was in his head. You know, what people write are in their, it's in their head. So when Shakespeare said, first we kill all the lawyers, that was a thought formed upon his head that he put into a story, a quote someone made. It sounded like he must have had experience with lawyers and they've never changed to even think a thought like that. Thoughts don't come to your head if they don't exist within you. They can't. Think of how, like, I sit around and I try to think of stuff, and generally the stuff I don't know I can't think of. Now I do invent stuff and stuff like that every now and then, but no. Generally people speak of what they know. So Shakespeare was saying lawyers were bad people, but yes, it is pretty much taken out of context. He wasn't saying that. He was quoting someone in a book. And in fact, it wasn't even like maybe a person you should look up to. But the fact is he made these quotes because they were in his head. And that means he probably leaned towards that with a little bit of bias. Like, you will never have some patriotic gung-ho American write a book about people who hate America. Like, everything they say will be like all wussy and coward. They'd be like, America's poopy, and then they're like, and then we kicked his butt. And then a gay boy came up and said America is number 3 in the world, and then we kicked his butt. So, yeah, his point of position, Shakespeare's point of position when he said we kill all the lawyers, his point of emotion was not at all he cared about lawyers. In the context, he was just being fruitful and glorious, probably, as he writes, which was, you know, what he enjoyed doing. So he was not thinking like, oh my God, we should never do that. He was just being adventurous, an adventurous writer, writing on the edge of literacy. So, yeah, little fucking rant there. But he was a special envoy. This position was created during the George W. Bush administration in 2004. Carr will advance U.S. foreign policy. Oh, oops. Oh, hold up. I think we have a... No, maybe we don't have any hidden... There's no setting in here for top comments or not comments. Okay, anyways. So, George Bush invented this in 2004. I wonder if George Bush is the president who gave me awards, or it was the president before him. Oh well. But yeah, see there you go. I've gotten awards from the president before, and I'm telling you, he's a scumbag. So think about that for a minute. These people have given me awards for my writing, and these days I spend years later, I'm multiplied my ability by thousands, and I'm now writing telling you that they're scumbags. So hey, the people I am telling you are scumbags and terrorists are telling you that I'm a good writer and I know what I'm talking about. Isn't that great how that works? See, like, I always viewed it this way: is God, He taught me to be egoless for many years because it would keep me under radar, and it does. Like, I'm not going to get an award for my journalism today. They're never going to give me an award for this journalism I do. They ban me from everywhere. But when I was a kid and I was like a foot tall, 2 foot tall, whatever I was at 8 or whatever age that first year was, because it was 2 years in a row he gave me awards. When I was that small and I couldn't talk back yet because people would punch me in my 6-year-old face and bust my teeth out my head if I said America might not be number one. Back then they gave me awards because I was scared to be honest, and I did what I was told and was a good slave. But these days they just ban me for my writing. So what his job is to do is to advance U.S. foreign policy on anti-Semitism, developing and implementing policies and projects to support efforts to combat anti-Semitism abroad. Carr is uniquely qualified for such a task, since he is not only has the professional expertise needed, but also has a personal connection to anti-Semitism. Oh, anti-Semite, Maria, are you one of these anti-Semites who attack him? Jesus, Maria, he's talking about you. So that links me to another page. I want to go off on that because that is just so absurd. Implementing policies and projects to support efforts to combat anti-Semitism, blah, blah, blah. After the establishment of the State of Israel in May 1948, look, this law center is like trying to use its position as a, quote, law center to tell you that Israel exists. Isn't real, doesn't really exist. It was a scam they set up by the Jewish invented United Nations and bullying people. I'm sure there was plenty of people whose leaders they just killed, who like Saddam or Gaddafi or Kim Jong. I'm sure there's plenty of people they didn't kill, or Hitler. I'm sure there's plenty of people that they didn't kill who were just scared they were going to get killed. So they might have voted towards these people, or they just had no idea what was going on and being fed lies. Anyways, after the establishment of Israel, Carr's grandfather was forced to participate in a staged trial in Iraq. These anti-Semitic trials targeted Jewish civilians, and his grandfather was convicted on false charges of distributing communist propaganda and sentenced to prison for 5 years, 2 of which were for calling Muslim witnesses liars. So they've been trying to genocide the Muslims for a long time. See, look, and I was just telling you, it didn't even exist, and there they are in the streets in the 50s. In the 1940s, pushing communist anti-Arab propaganda. Back then, the communists were the anti-Arabs. Think about that. Think about that. Think of it, these cycles. Every time I say the word cycle, it's everywhere. You'll see it everywhere. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? Who knows? But if you keep seeing the cycle, maybe you'll learn more about it than I do. But they cycled the communism. The communism apparently was their Nazism at the time, and they just cycled it out with Nazism. During his prison sentence, the rest of his relatives were able to flee to Israel in 1950. Isn't that great? So this guy is a complete terrorist, and you will be totally fooled by looking at the pictures they have chosen of him to put him up there. But I bet you give me about 10 seconds around this guy, and I'll have him hissing and spitting. because generally, like these have to be like really well orchestrated picks. Maybe they have him on some sort of tranquilizers so he doesn't look like an evil demon. But generally, I find it people their face gives them away. Now there are these pansy type people. A large portion of the population is not aggressive and is full of cowardice. And that I'm not even saying that's wrong or there's anything really wrong with that. You shouldn't have to live in a world where you have to have aggression in order to defend yourself. You shouldn't have to ever keep your guard up, but you have to because of people like this. But I bet you I could have him breaking down into some demonic shit or some really scared shit in just a few minutes. Tops, a few seconds. You've seen what I did to InfoWars. It took a few seconds for them to be like, oh my God, why do you talk about Jack? They basically went into wanting to get me to say I was going to kill them. Like, it went from me saying, your children are Jewish, why don't you discuss that's a real thing, to the real importance of the bloodlines who took over America, to asking if I was threatening them, because that's like their last resort. If I don't threaten them, then they have no protection at that point. I've just exposed everything, and it's like this dude, like I would come up right on him and just talk about all this, and he would be like left crying. Like if I can get in any sort of interview debate with these other presidential candidates, they would lose so badly. I would bait them so hard. I even have like special medication I've been saving that will amp my brain up, and I'll use that at that instance. Maybe I should test this stuff beforehand, but I have special chemicals which should amp my brain up. And generally, I don't have to use that shit. Like, they used to force feed me methamphetamines when I was a kid, but I really don't need that. My brain is pretty freaking hyperactive as it is. But it would be really hard to defeat me, and I think I would probably use some sort of chemical to help me at one point as well. And it would just shut them down completely if I could get a face-to-face with some of these people. And I don't need that. I really don't need that. They need that. In fact, the people who re-brought the methamphetamine called Adderall, back into my life, those were the lady who brought Trump into my life, who I've shown you several times. They've given me gifts, and they give people around me gifts. And some of those people are lying around me, saying they didn't receive gifts. So I think they're into it as well. But I have the gifts. So until you steal those from me, I have those. So it's hard to say I didn't receive those. That person tried to reintroduce me to Adderall because at 50, they were working in and out of the government. They were using Adderall to get ahead of the other plebes. Work harder than a normal slave, work smarter than a normal slave. Not you could do both. You can do whatever you want with if you use substances. You can use substances to help you fight, to help you think, to help you sleep, whatever. In fact, sometimes it might not be a good idea for me to use an upper in an argument, because I might need a downer to keep me grounded and out, not so I don't sound too discombobulated. Because I know when I start getting into my fast talk and my fast thinking, that must be really confusing, especially when you don't understand a single thing I'm saying and I'm explaining a bunch of stuff. And this and that gets out there, and you're lost instantly by the first thing you don't understand. And then it's just like, blah, 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 micro machines, they're small, they're fast, buy them now, get them all, get them all, get them all, get them all. So I'm not sure what I should do, but if I could get any of these people on the stage with me, I could break them down. And that's how you would know. That's why I started recording people on camera, because you get it in their eyes, you get how they act, and that will tell you the whole truth. Like when I was confronting those InfoWars people on camera, and when I was confronting the people who are running the Move On campaign there, that's how, I didn't show that first 15 minutes, but those people went to call the cops. That's why the cops showed up, because getting how they act on cam is important, because they're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, he's here, oh no, what do we do? That's pretty much like how they acted, right? That's pretty much how these people will act. If I can get some one-on-one time with these people. Now when we're dealing with candidates, there of course will have assassins, and they will have their protection, quote protection unquote, because they could use Secret Service and be like, oh, he's threatening, get him off the stage and stuff like that, or he's scaring us. But it's like, I'd really like to see some Secret Service goon like get in my face, dude, because they'll find out I'll be the only president up there who's like not completely helpless. Yeah, Maria says they're not used to debating with truth. Like yeah, they have no practice at all. Like the second you accidentally whittle to their core, they don't even know how to discuss that, and that's when the truth will come out. Like yeah, yeah. No doubt. I like I said, is that a rumor? Maria says, suppose Trump sniff Adderall, or is it just a rumor? Have you heard of that somewhere? That sounds about right. These people do stuff like this. Like I said, she tried to get me to hang out with Trump, and she did Adderall, and I suppose that is how most like these dopehead Lexus dealers over here. I said several times he's acting like a coke user because first of all, I know car dealers. Second of all, I know why you need thousands of dollars a day, and that's any sort of addiction, whether you're just addicted to money or you're addicted to food or you're addicted to TV. That's what these rich people out here on this side of town are after. They're not after money because they want to like love money and kiss it and hold it. Some of them might be like not anyone in this city, maybe Lex Wexner. That'd be about it. But most people want money because they want to spend it. And so what are they spending it on? Well, apparently car dealers like spending it on coke, and that helps them sell. That helps them. It also helps them sell. Not their addiction helps them make the next deal so they can buy more into their addiction because they're like on they feel they're on their game. They're faster than you. They think they are. And technically, fast thinking isn't always your friend either. Like, I wouldn't trade my slow thinking for fast thinking because my slow thinking allows me to really think things through. And the fast thinking moments I have are often very bad moments. It's like, oh shit, I accidentally made a decision too quick there. Yeah, does hemp oil work, Michael Jones? Send me some. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what it does to me. I don't have any. I have other types of oils. I was somewhat clean all winter and didn't get sick. I took Chlorophyll Silver a couple times just because I got it, but it was mostly already over and I hadn't got sick. I kind of believe we can just manipulate the world to whatever we want so you can heal yourself. But that's hard for me to do because I have this overactive brain and it doesn't, you need to like shut down to heal. And I can't shut my brain down very well. And then the drugs that help shut it down all are like varied and government controlled. So yeah, I would love to have this dude on stage. Okay, so this Elaine Carr guy, he was involved in Saddam's regime or something apparently. So he's a total terrorist. He's a mass murderer and genocider. I should do a whole video on this. People aren't gonna like realize that like most of my videos have like, 4 complete topics to them. But I don't know how to even get my videos out there. Everyone else seems to, the GDL comes out of nowhere and gets thousands of followers. I come out of nowhere and I get banned. after, oh yeah, he killed Saddam. That's right. I already mentioned that. That's right. Half a century after his family fled, Elaine Carr flew into Iraq as a major in the U.S. Army. So yeah. So first he's killing Arabs with guns. He's literally picking up guns and genociding Arabs to steal their land to create isn't real. And then he's coming to America to enslave all people in America, not just whites, not just blacks. He's coming here to enslave people, and so he's going over there to kill people. And just like Trump he was a liberal until he wanted to run for Republican. He's just an actor they put up there. And these people, these aides and stuff, do the real thinking. See, that's one of the problems with these presidents is these presidents can't think. They're not thinkers. They're puppets. But I mean, I think they're all the same bloodline. Barack isn't his really name, but the job is like the simple fact that people even view it that like it's of importance. That is a mistake because it's not. It's all the people below him doing the actions, like all these goons he hires to protect him. Like Trump couldn't do anything, right? Like who would give this orange orangutan like $1 if it wasn't for him being friends with the bankers? Like no one. No, like he wouldn't be able to get. He would look way different if he couldn't afford plastic surgeries and all this stuff he's had done. He would look way different if his family couldn't afford all that stuff. His children looked so different that the one had to have plastic surgery as a child because she just clearly, I mean, why else would you do it? You hate the way you look. Like, he wouldn't attract all that stuff if it just wasn't for them all working together to do that. He has nothing to offer. He said some good words, but he's went back on most of them. But the thing is those problems wouldn't exist if it wasn't for his family. And what they do sometimes is they throw you a bone. And with Obama, they just threw a black skin. And that's really all that he had to do. And then cause some unrest. And with Trump, really, that feels like that's all he's got to do too, because none of the alt-righters Republicans are talking about anything serious. They're just being deceptive. They're like being terrorists in working towards their agenda. It becomes terrorism at a certain point. What these groups like the alt-right do is terrorism. They're guilty of the highest crimes of the land. They're guilty of capital crimes, and their leaders can easily be convicted on that, but their leaders already control the nation. That's the problem, is there's a lie that they're fighting to take over the nation, and they're not fighting to take over the nation. They took over the nation a long time ago, probably when they built the nation. Michael Jones said Saddam's death was fake. I thought for a minute that looked weirdish. What's going on here with the... I thought Saddam's death looks weirdish, but I don't know. Yeah, and that's weird how like there's all this talk of like the puppets, Satan's puppets. It's like some of these people literally act like they're no longer in control of themselves and they're just demonic puppets. Like, especially since I've started like really doing this openly. Like, I've been doing this a long time. I'm just swept under the rug constantly. So I don't get anywhere with this. But recently, with me going outside several times and really wanting to push the ante, it feels, and like, separate myself from demons and from people who are like acting demonic. It's like everyone around me has turned into some sort of demon just attacking me and trying to it's like they're not even smart enough to figure out that they're actually they're terrorists now, guilty of executable offenses. Because when you try to prevent someone from becoming president, you're like guilty of serious, serious, serious crimes. Like, if I went out there and I like restrained Trump constantly, and like I was like, oh, well, you can't do anything. I won't sell you electricity today. I won't sell you a car today. I'll just play some games. Like, if it would be like a serious issue if I told Trump like, hey, you got to move now because yeah, this and that. Uh, but I know it's really not because of that. If I'm on a profile slowing someone down and it's my job to like stall someone so they can't complete their job, that becomes terrorism when it becomes politically motivated. It's just an attack, but when it's politically motivated, it becomes terrorism. And you have a lot of that going on. I don't even know what to think anymore, because the world has just changed so much as I've learned that the humans, like, they're not even, mostly the ones around me, they're like not even smart enough to control themselves. Or they are or they always were the demons. It's I don't know what's going on really as far as that. Yeah, Michael Jones says the left, right are part of the same, of the whole of the one world. And Maria says Zionist puppets. Yeah. And Michael Jones says CERN's Mandela effect. I know what he means by the Mandela effect, and relating that to CERN, what he's talking about is he's saying the scientists have found a way to rework things, and there's an effect in place where things can be changed in accordance with time. And I've seen that. I've totally seen that. It's odd though. It's so odd how they can like formulate to attack me. It's like it feels like some of my only options left are going to be to just literally run and hide, like, from the humans in a forest, because this is really weird. This has been going on several days now, that people have been accosting me like every day. Like, I knew I was having to do stuff last week. I knew I was having to move last week. And like, even the people involved with forcing me to move, which it wasn't really forced. It was like, I was planning. They're too stupid to figure anything out. But I was already planning on that. I I don't want to be locked here no more. It's pointless to be here. I went outside in Columbus. I showed you guys that InfoWars and CBS won't put me on TV at all. They won't touch me. I've been interviewed by Breitbart. They won't touch me. My next step is to travel the nation and speak to everyone. I'm not sure about the Mandela effect and CERN, though. I'm not sure what they're doing and how they've done it. They do seem to be. That's interesting how people are blaming that on CERN. But I don't own CERN. I can't use it. It's like a big, huge building that requires tons of people to operate, right? Like, I just have to rely on God. That's like all I have. Because like everyone is turning their back on me. And he told me that was going to happen years ago. And I didn't really believe it. Like when I see it in these demons' eyes, when I see the joy leave their eyes, when I let them know that I'm happy, they're like, oh my God, but he's supposed to hate life now. He's supposed to be stalled and not do anything. It's like, it still like hurts me, even though he told me years ago everyone was going to turn on me. And it's like I knew, and I seen it, and I knew it, and it basically already happened. But it's still like some of these same people still approach me, like like they didn't turn on me, and like they're not my enemy, and like they haven't worked against me. It's like they don't know what they're doing sometimes, but I'm not going to let that be like an excuse. Uh, If you're that weak that like you can be controlled by demons, and you're a demon, like that just means you're like, yeah, I don't see why God would let that happen unless he just felt you were chopped meat, because it could turn out really bad for you. CERN is in Switzerland. Oh God, I wanted to go to the north so bad. Now you make me not want to go there. Maybe I need to go there and find out what's going on. Break in. I shouldn't say that. That's probably a crime to say I'm going to break in. Of course, that's a joke, and I'm completely sarcastic all the time. But someday they'll like do something about me being sarcastic, because my sarcasm is very powerful. Besides the 24/7 banning they do. I'm going to leave this one video and move on with this video and get me some water. They try to create the Big Bang. Yeah, that's odd, because the Big Bang can't exist as the proper theory if the world's intelligently designed. So why would they even attempt to create a Big Bang if the world's intelligently designed? And it's clear it's intelligently designed, that it didn't just randomly bang itself into into place. It's all on these cycles of design. It's like, I don't even see how a scientist could. What type of low-level thinking person goes into science and thinks the world is not designed intelligently after so many years? Many of these scientists go in with a theory, and then like they test the theory, and then they come out knowing that, Jesus, I shouldn't talk about this while I'm away from the other device. Hold up, I'm going to grab a drink, and I will come back. Okay, so many of these Hold up, I'm not in for another video yet. I don't know why I started. Oh, dude, that video went off at some point. That's not cool. Why is that video going off even when I set the resolution down really far? What's up with that? Oh, and I gotta adjust this, which I think it was already adjusted. Okay, that's on full HD video. Whatever. Oh, and I'm touching it and I can't change it. Okay, thanks for working. They do something like slow these devices down over the years. They update them after 2 years, so you have to buy the new spy tool, which is new and improved at spying on you. And then they'll like brick the old devices, or partial brick them. Should have been recording that on the other device. Okay, so I was saying, most of these scientists go into something with a theory, and it's just a theory, and they talk about it, but they go into the theory, and then they just, like, when a scientist has a theory, they go and test it. That's the whole point to the theory, is to test it. That's the whole point to science, is to test it. And then no scientist is like, my theory is correct. Like, it's 100%. Like, I'm sure. And So a lot of times you're testing stuff, you're just randomly testing it, so you have no idea. It's like, does chocolate chip taste good on pizza? We'll find out. Who knows? Or you could be a really good culinary chef and spent years learning that, and then realize that, yeah, maybe chocolate goes good with sugary sauce, and it does if you like that. Okay, but then they have to test their theory, and if they're wrong, they have to admit they're wrong or it's bad science. So you have some of these theories that the scientists don't even believe in themselves anymore. Like the global warming theory, the scientist who invented it did a video about how Al Gore stole it from him, and he doesn't believe the theory he invented. He just thought it was possible. And he basically said Al Gore and corporations have a lot of money to make off of it. Why do you mean? What do you mean? Michael Jones says, "What do you think about all these Satanists going to North Pole this year? What a joke! What is that? What do you mean? What's going on there? I didn't know anything about them going to the North Pole." Oh, so Carr, who Elaine Carr, the anti-Semitic American Task Force leader, they brag he went to Iraq to because he was a lawyer there. That was his skill. So basically, he went there to mind manipulate people, and like I said, like I was saying, did I think I said that in one of the videos they deleted. But you can tell people like Patrick Little are Army op intelligence operations specialist because he's small. He's not a steroid monster, so he's not a soldier. All the soldiers are on a human growth hormone and steroids, and they're all on something like meth, amphetamines. It just depends on which unit they're in. And then, of course, some people, you're not worth the price of meth, so you probably don't get any free meth. So he basically went there to talk his way through these people's minds, and as he killed them. And oh, dude, to tie it even more, the son of an Iraqi-born Jewish mother and Ashkenazi father, Carr is. So, so he has a personal vendetta probably for wanting to take over Iraq. This Carr guy he has a family link to the Iraq nation. So he has all the reason in the world to want to take it over so his literal family can own it and continue to run it. It's not his land. He doesn't belong there. Why are they there? So he can kill Saddam and take over their money, take over their nation and money and everything. For him. And white people in America be like, but I love killing people so good. They look brown to me. I don't like that color. And you're like, you're a dumbass, dude. Like, Like, they're manipulating you into killing them for them. Like, literally, that's like what the liberals are basically saying, too. The liberals are like white supremacists like that, too. Like, they don't really care. They just act like they care because it helps the nation prosper to act like there's some sort of opposition. And they want to prosper. So they don't want to live in a poor nation with no good car, good free money. He lit Hanukkah candles at Saddam Hussein's presidential palace. Wow. Wow. Do you guys understand what that means? Hanukkah is a celebration of them taking over nations through conquest. So he then lit the Hanukkah candles at Saddam's presidential palace. So that's what that signifies. That is what that religious holiday signifies. He says, "What an appropriate service to begin with," Carr told the Times of Israel, speaking recently on the sidelines of a conference of Jewish activists in Connecticut. Hanukkah, the symbol of freedom, of conquering a profane and cruel tyranny that defiled a land. We are profoundly moved by the experience. So he is there spitting in the face. I told you that before I even read this. That I just told you that's exactly what it is. And then he says, yeah. And like, I continue to spit in your face because you're dead. What are you going to do about it? And your people will never adjust the wrongs you have done. We were profoundly moved by the experience. Jesus, he is just a genocidal freak. This dude needs to be apprehended. So where are the terrorist FBI at? Where are the terrorist police in this nation at? You know where they're at? They're working with this guy. They're terrorists too. They're working to... The FBI is creating this fake narrative that the Russians took over America. And this guy isn't Russian. And Trump's family isn't Russian. And Barack's family isn't Russian. Bernie Sanders' family could be Russian, but it's not what matters. Everyone, all the candidates 2016 had a blood link that wasn't Russian, or at least when you include the one libertarian guy, he only had one of their names and had one of their faces, so we couldn't prove he was one of them because he was a nobody other than that. But they even brag like this one guy they moved in for like a couple weeks and they never spoke of him again. They even bragged he was one of them, so they were all one of them. It was just a spit in the face. So he's not just a little sniveling worm. He's a little sniveling genocidal worm. Like, he's not just the usual lawyer who's just a complete cracked out fiend who should be locked behind bars and in a rubber room and medicated because of his greed and bloodlust is just inhumane. No, he's more than just a lawyer. He's something much more terroristic than just a lawyer. And Dan Pratt's still making videos? Michael Jones says, thumbs up this video and check out Dan Pratt's channel. Yeah, so I never say that in my videos, like thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I wonder if that actually helps. I mean, you guys can make your own mind up whether you like the video, but sometimes I guess, I listen to a video and I forget to thumb it up. And who knows what consequences that have. And share it, of course, if you like being banned. I did not say anything out of place in this video, so it should be a safe video to share. But you never know. Really, what's safe to share gets less and less, because I'm literally telling you these guys are terrorists, and they are literally scared of people like me. So, like, you can say poo poo face, and I made plenty of videos where I say bad words. I've shown you over and over again that this was a demonstration to show you that I can say anything I want, but I cannot say anything too intelligent. That's exactly why I started pushing more cuss words for a while. Like I might not. I say whatever words I want. I really don't care, right? But for a while there, I was pushing. I still am, like, because with the alt right, with the Jewish alt right coming up, they made it so now Southern Justice Warriors get mad if you say the word Nazi, so because you're not allowed exposing who the Nazis are. You're not allowed exposing that Hanukkah is the real Nazis, and they are trying to hide that. They aren't trying to show you that stuff. They want you to think other stuff. So, you know, you can share my video if you want, and I can't guarantee you don't get banned if you share my videos. He says, check out, yeah, Michael Jones shared Reshaping the World, damn Pratt. I'm not necessarily saying you guys should go to any of these channels, but I don't know. He's just saying that. And then he said, how do you, I don't know, check out the enter the Stars Reloaded channel. Yeah, maybe I'll check that out. I really don't have time to watch videos anymore. I'm like, they've taken my car from me, and they won't let me buy a new one apparently now. Every time I go to talk to someone about buying a car, they discriminate against me and kick me out. So I probably won't have a phone too much longer. I don't have time to watch videos right now. I wish I did, because then I could listen to some music or something. But I'm gonna wrap this up for now. I should be like trying to get a car, get some airline tickets to get out of America. One of the two, like, I got those two goals, and if they don't, like, if they like prevent me, if the people of America try to prevent me from buying a new car, if I like walk up to these people and throw them money and they prevent me from buying a new car, then like I will be forced to get out of this nation. They're definitely trying whatever they can. And it's weird. I even have to come to a thought that could be possible, but it's like, you never know. Just because I have my passport in my hand doesn't mean they're going to let me leave America either. That's quite a trick. I'm tricking myself of thinking when I think that me having a passport means I'm allowed to leave America and I'm not their political prisoner and their slave. I haven't. My bones aren't broken enough to the point where I can't be put in shackles. But yeah, you said Enter the Stars Reloaded. All right, everyone, have a good one. Hopefully I didn't miss nothing in this. I mean, there's always something I'm missing, right? I could go further and further into Anton LaVey and his little buddy there. And you can review the video I showed you. I showed you in this video on the actual device the names and pictures. So let me pull these up for the other video that I'm recording at the same time. Let me make sure we get all of these. So that's Twitter saying, it's Twitter, Church of Satan saying, yep, Anton LaVey has a secular Jewish upbringing and all resonated in his creation of Satanism. And then they want you to get, the point of the Templar thing was to show you that they want you to hate people who destroyed Templars. And they're telling you, yeah, I didn't explain this. Down there at the bottom, it says police checking out whether the suspects are members of a Satanist cult. So that's Times of Israel, and they're just trying to pit Christians versus Satanists. They want those people to hate each other and kill each other, because it doesn't really matter who you are, as long as you can kill each other instead of them. That's a good goal. That was the whole reason I brought that up. I never mentioned that. So that was the whole point of that. They brought up the Templar thing because they want you to worship that, and they want some people who worship that to read that and then see that, oh, evil Satanists did it. But then over at the same time, they also had praise the Dark Lord, praise the Dark Lord, Satanist plan invocation at Phoenix City Council meeting. It's like they literally wrote praise the Dark Lord there. That is crazy. And then, of course, back to the Templar thing, blaming Satanists for destroying Templar. They want those people to kill each other. They want Christians and Satanists to kill each other. Just like they want Christians and Arabs to kill each other. Just like they want whites and Arabs to kill each other. Christians and Muslims to kill each other. Satanists to kill Muslims. Everyone to kill everyone except for pay attention to them. And then reviewing for the other video, we have in Haunted Salem, a Jewish church founder preaches the art of satanic social change, and that is about, it says, the secular Jew Malcolm Jerry. Now in that article, he tells you that he is a Jew, and he's saying ethnic. He assures you he's ethnic. And like I also showed you, that Jew or not Jew tries to tell you that this guy is not Jewish. Anton LaVey is not Jewish. But the whole time they're just basically arguing back and forth that it's basically whatever they want to say is a Jew, and whatever they want to discredit is not. But then they spit in your eye in their own reading material and call him the Dark Lord. And they clearly, they double posted that too. There was no accident that they called it the praise the Dark Lord. Praise the Dark Lord. There's no accident to that to be written. That would never be written in any non-Jewish American media. Fox News would never create an insulting article that says praise the Dark Lord twice. Like whatever that is, it's like it's said twice to let you know it's not a typo. It's not an accident. They purposely put that there because it's really deep into their propaganda. And as I just showed with that little picture, how they divide those groups up. The Christians, the Satanists. And then we even went in with the help of Maria, bringing up someone who brought us back to the discussion of Arabs or Muslims. The anti-Semitic task force, his whole thing was about destroying nations with Hanukkah. That's what America did. America is the Jewish war machine. It is there to destroy. And for Hanukkah, every time you see your little Christmas celebration is used to completely sweep a real celebration of reality under the rug. A reality, your daily worship of Hanukkah occurs in reality. Yet, there's never one flying reindeer to be seen. Hanukkah is every day you can look at it. Not a single flying fat guy who isn't lazy flies through the sky with flying deer. But it's completely overproduced and hyped to everyone while they just spit in your face with the reality of Hanukkah. So I'm going to close this. Hopefully I got all those pictures there on the main video. The secondary video, we'll see what happens here. Sorry for you guys getting your comments lost. Here, let me pull up the comments just so people, if we got to use the secondary video, people can see what the comments were. You can pause the video here if you really want to get into it and read these comments. Let's scroll through them real fast. Oops. You're going too fast. Hopefully I give you enough time to do this. Sorry, I'm doing what I can. I could set up a mega, I've got a mega surveillance apparatus going on here. I could easily turn this into me recording through many forms at once so nothing messes up, but they like to mess up. And I got to get out of here, so I can't really re-gear it. Besides, all that stuff, all my computers and are purposed towards monitoring people in this world. Like my landlord is a criminal who wants to steal my stuff, so I have to monitor them. My neighbors as well. Like my neighbors are with my one neighbor is with my landlord, and the other neighbors are criminals as well, so I've got to watch out for all them. And those are all the messages there. Kind of hard to pull up those last ones, so let me put that real close to the screen. Yeah, so almost all my resources are tied up into protecting myself from these demons, as opposed to making multiple backups. So who knows which one of these will get online. And I'll just invest more money into more cameras so I can have 5, 6 recording positions at once, live streaming in 6 other areas. The harder they hit, the harder I hit back. It's the way it is. Like, they're pretty weak for a group of millions of people. They're very weak. But I'll keep it up. You guys keep it up too. See you later.